It's the Lakewood Sheriff's Station, Lakewood, California.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Clark, and I think I indicated the address in the complaint.
Mm-hmm.
Because after it happened, I went into the video rental, but I was so unnerved, and I spoke to the clerk, and I pointed at them outside. I said, see, you have no idea what they just put me through. I'm just shaking, and I'm nerved, and I'm a little upset because my mom died recently, and it's hard for me, not to be a little emotional.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of tough. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Despise
It's okay.
showing emotion in public, but I'm vulnerable right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 63 years old. I'm a diabetic. My family is like one of the founding families of Lakewood. I just don't think I should have been treated that way. You can tell by my manner. There's nothing in me to evoke hostility in an officer. I've always been really very polite.
Mm-hmm.
So and I know the guys are under pressure, but there's nothing in my manner or what I look like. I'm very genteel. There's no way an officer can get mad at me. I've been pulled over and this and that, and there's never been a problem. I'm not that type of person. I think it's quite obvious. Even if she was having a bad night, I'm very gentle.
Mm-hmm.
So, her negativity was entirely unwarranted. I mean, it was just very willful, very hostile. And
I need you to back up and tell me how this event started. I need to know where you were.
I shall. I'm sorry. It's just
No, it's okay.
I don't want to be emotional about this, but
yeah, but just for the record, I need to know where you were, and why she approached you.
Yes, I was driving westward on Candlewood, which is a small residential street, and it's not very well lit. Ahead of me, I saw a car with headlights shining right at me. It was parked on the wrong side of the street. And at first I thought it was headed for me. So, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I slowed down, and then I saw it was stationary. So to assess the situation prior to proceeding, forward, I stopped and make sure that if I have to pull around this car, there were no cars behind them. I let a couple of cars pass who were on the left going the opposite way. So it was clear before I made my maneuver. And it wasn't until actually I passed the vehicle that I saw there was a police car. And I gave it a wide berth, because again, it's rather dark on that street, and their headlights kind of blind you. There were no red and blue blinking lights to identify them. And as I said, it wasn't until I passed them that I saw that it was a squad car. And then when I went to make the turn on Woodruff to go to the video store, it was then I saw that they put their emergency lights on and started flashing. But again, it was no business of mine, so I kept going. That's nothing I can be involved with. So I pulled into the parking lot of Blockbuster, and then I saw they had followed me into the lot. I thought, well, that's curious. So anyway, but then they came up right by me. I thought, well, I guess they want to speak to me. So I was totally puzzled. Okay, I got out of the car. I said, is there anything wrong, officer? And I thought maybe they were going to ask me if I witnessed something. I don't know. I was approached by this female officer, short, stocky, with short reddish hair. And then her partner came out of the car. He stayed by the car. He was a rather tall young man. But anyway, she said immediately that I was driving in an erratic and dangerous manner on Candlewood. And she asked me if I were on drugs or alcohol. I said no, Actually, I was totally taken aback by her, really mischaracterization of what I had done. I thought I had acted cautiously given the situation. So I was really stunned, and it just sounded like the way she was trying to describe what I had done is like she's trying to create a case against me. It was very bizarre. And the entire time, she kept staring at me, and she kept repeating the question that I had already answered. Are you on drugs? Have you been drinking? And then tried to explain the situation. She was, I acted in a cautious manner. They were parked on the wrong side of a dark road. And of course, I had to stop before I proceeded because I would have to drive around them. And I wanted to make sure there were no cars coming the opposite way. But she was treating me like some sort of felon. And I guess she was staring at me to ascertain my state. In other words, maybe some movement or a blink of an eye would confirm her accusation that I was on drugs or alcohol. As I say, all rather unnerving. Her partner stayed in the background the whole time. And then I handed over my license. She looked at my name, and she handed the license over to the partner to run a check. And it just seemed like she got more insolent. And because you're thinking, why is she being this way with me? Is it because I'm a guy? Is it because I'm Hispanic? Do I have a sports car? What could it? I mean, it's just why I didn't give her any cause to be so hostile. And it wasn't like I was driving madly or crazy.
Okay, would you say that she crossed the line between being firm and that she was actually being unprofessional in the way she was speaking to you?
Yes, very unprofessional. Her conduct was unreasonable and willful, and it had nothing to do with a response because, again, I don't react. So I'm not going to get into a hostile situation with law enforcement. I mean, am I dumb? I'm not about to do that, no matter what I think.
So let me summarize to some extent. You were driving. You spotted this vehicle. They did not clearly identify themselves as police officers in any way to you when you were approaching in your vehicle, and at some point they stopped you after you had passed them and accused you of driving erratically. And when they, am I correct so far?
Well, it was later. As I say, I turned the corner, and then I saw them. That's when they put on the emergency lights. Yes, all I saw was a dark car with the two bright headlights shining in my face. I couldn't tell if it was a police vehicle, and I couldn't even tell whether they were actually parked on the curb. It looked like they were in the middle of the lane.
Okay, but to my point, hold on. To my point, did they pull you over and accuse you of driving erratically?
They didn't pull me over. They followed me into the parking lot by Blockbuster Video.
Okay.
I parked, and then they came up. I got out of my car, and then they approached me.
Okay. So, but at some point they approached you at the Blockbuster and accused you of driving erratically in the car?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And during the course of that communication with the officer, you felt the officer was being belligerent, hostile, and unprofessional, or any one of those three?
Yeah. All of them. Okay. Unnecessarily belligerent. I mean, I'm not, if you see me or talk to me, I'm not going to inspire that kind of feeling in you because I'm, a refined kind of person. I'm like a university professor. Who's going to get pissed off at a university professor,
Right.
And
right.
I said, officer, look, I know you guys put your life on the line every time you pull someone over, but surely it must be apparent to you that by my manner and the way I use English, that I am no low-life criminal.
Right.
She just sneered at me. She said, there's lots of guys in prison that talk like you. And I said, really? I said, I can't really believe that.
Let me ask you a question. When you were talking to her, were you polite as you are right now?
Yes, of course.
And did
That's
you
my manner.
did you answer her questions in a respectful and clear manner?
I was always civil. You can hear the way I talk now. That's the way I spoke with her.
Okay, and you gave her no grounds to be otherwise. She was being treated courteously and professionally by you, and you saw no reason for her to do anything different, correct?
And exactly. And even if she were stern, I would still not react because I understand that that's their business, that it's a tough business. If they're going to be a little stern with me, it's okay. I didn't resent the question, have you been taking drugs or are you on alcohol? I said no, but I wasn't angry about it. She asked the question. I thought she had a right to ask that, and I responded.
Okay. And did she accept your explanations as you gave them? You said she was accusing you of maybe being on drugs.
No, because she kept staring at me, waiting to see some kind of movement or eye twitch or something to see if I were indeed on drugs or alcohol. And then she said, because I explained, well, it looked like the car was parked in the street. It's dark, and I saw where your headlights. She said, well, you created a more dangerous situation by your actions.
Was she raising her voice?
Oh. Yes.
So she was yelling at you?
She was not very nice. She wasn't yelling.
Okay.
But she raised her voice, and she was aggressive.